I grew up in western Massachusetts in a little town called Williamstown, bordered by New York State and Vermont State. Very old money there. It was founded because of Williams College, which was founded, I believe, in the 1700s. Like I said, very old money. Rockefeller had a house there, one of the first houses in the country to have an indoor swimming pool and an elevator. And Williams College is one of the top Ivy League schools in the country. Now, bordering Williamstown on the west is the Green Mountains, and they run up through New York State, through Massachusetts, and into Vermont. That area is extremely dense, and there is an energy vortex up there that I have experienced for years. I've had many, many experiences up there, but I'm just going to share this particular series of experiences. Now, interesting enough is where I lived in Williamstown on Route 7 would look directly at this area, and it was very, very close. My house is on the house is still there. It's on North Street, and it would look my window would look due west out into this forest area. And one summer night, I was looking out my window and I saw something that looked very similar to this go by my window. And I was like, did I just see that? And there was a flat garage roof that was only about a foot below the window. And I ran out on there to get a better look at this thing. And by the time I got out there, it had gone behind some trees and I couldn't see it. So I ran up on a higher part of the roof and looked due north, and I could see it beyond these trees quite a ways off, like a quarter mile, or I was thinking it was really, really fast. And what I realized was it was the second one, and I had missed the first one. There were two of them completely silent, about 150 feet off the ground. So over the next few months, I started seeing these things all over the place. And we even had a party one night, and there were 6 to 8 guys outside who all saw it at once. One of my very close friends, I grabbed him. We went up on that same flat roof, and I had binoculars, and I go, "You tell me, what is that?" And his reply to me was, "That's effed up." And the craft just came right over the top of us. It was crazy. I think I lost count of how many of those types of craft that I saw during those months, but it was over 25 different occasions. After studying and figuring out what these things were, I realized that it was indeed a Lockheed TR-3B. Now, one night, I was having these terrible nightmares, and I was having constantly thinking about this area and thinking about these ships, and I couldn't get it off my mind. And I had this really, really terrible nightmare. I woke up completely horrified. And what had happened was they had taken me in my sleep, and I woke up halfway back through the wall, and the whole wall was the same color of light as the light on those craft. And what I remember, and it's taken years to really unlock a lot of these memories, but these pictures right here are the closest thing that I can find on the net right now that are closest to my memory. There were 4 grays, I believe to be Zetas, and the room was very busy. There was a lot of equipment and things like that. There was a lot of telepathy between them and myself, which I do not remember the content of. There were also 2 human Air Force officers standing there in their light blue shirts and dark pants and tight haircuts and everything, very stoic. And I remember these images very clearly, but they had been fragmented for many, many years. And they're really starting to wake up right now. And interesting enough, when I started to research these craft, they're very, very common as far as the anti-gravity craft are concerned. Now, another noteworthy information is about 8 years earlier, my friend Joe was driving south on Route 7 and saw a craft very similar to this picture fly right over the top of him in his car. And if you go to the National UFO Reporting Center and you look at the reports, these craft have been reported in this area for many years, since like the 60s and 70s. And then also just as recent as 2017 Petersburg Pass, which is the road that goes through that area, same thing. If you look at the UFO hunters, they've got quite a bit of data on the area as well. Now, another incident, another night, I was coming back from that same friend's house actually, and I saw what looked very similar to this in the sky. Instead of taking a left and going back home, it was getting late, but I took a right and went up into Vermont. I drove up Route 7, went into Pownell, Vermont, and I ended up picking a friend of mine up that lived right out in that area, and he was also seeing a lot of stuff during those months as well. And we actually went up Route 7 and we took a left and followed Route 346 out into New York State, and it's all farm country out there. And this thing was brilliantly white, and then it would drop down to an amber, and it would be fiery red, and it would change. And we followed it to this really dark area, and it was going down below the ridges, and you could see it completely illuminating the area behind, and the light coming through the trees, and it would power up, and sometimes it would split. Now, these pictures right here I got from the net, but they're very, very close to what that thing looked like. And I've always thought that I really wish that I had the awareness now, or then, that I have now, and my telepathy is better now, so that I could have really gotten more out of that experience. But it was pretty intense, and it got very late, and we had to go because we both had to get up at like 5 in the morning. And as we were driving back, this thing was following us, and it basically followed me back to the Vermont line before I got back into Massachusetts. Very, very interesting stuff. Now, another noteworthy thing is only about a half an hour's drive northwest of this area is the Bennington Triangle, or Glastonbury Triangle. And that's a really bizarre place, and there's been a lot of disappearances up there. There's been a lot of UFO and Sasquatch activities, and it's just a really powerful part of the country here. I've had so many weird experiences through growing up, so I'm just going to start doing more and more of these videos, because I can't get them all into one, and I don't want to overwhelm you or myself trying to do so. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and look forward to doing more. Thanks.